it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and I am sharing my sped up and voiced over version of the live stream from 5/17. This is on the Art Joy of Sharing live stream channel that I share with Peg Robinson, and we live stream every Thursday, so come on over and check that out. So the theme of the show was paper play, and I decided to make an art journaling page that is in tribute to, or whatever, of the volcanoes and the goddess of the Hawaiian volcanoes, Pele. And the reason that I thought of that is because of this really ugly page did have some redeeming qualities. It had things in it that I could see, and there was kind of a volcano shape, and then there was these tree branch shapes that I thought looked like lava. And I'd been watching a lot of the videos of the current activity on Kona, the Big Island. A lot of interesting, beautiful yet scary, yet beautiful, yet scary, yet terrifying, yet beautiful videos of magma and lava and things like that. And I visited that island last year with my mom, and I went to the national park, and so it's been fascinating me, and that's what I've been interested in lately. So I decided to make this page using this very unattractive gel print. The reason I kept this gel print is because the other side is nice, but this one was ugh. So I made a drawing to start out kind of the layout of my page using a Stabilo all pencil that is white. Since the page is very dark, I needed to draw it in a lighter color. And I traced out the area where the volcano shape was in the print, and then I drew a type of trying to make a girl's face that is very Polynesian looking, and her hair is flowing, and because she's the goddess of volcanoes and fires, her hair has this bright orange lava flowing through it, coming down from the volcano. And so I had an idea of what I was doing, and I started out with collage, like I often do when I'm making a mixed media page or piece. And these papers that I'm using are also gel prints. Some of them are cleanup pages. Some of them are the 6x6 prints that I was making as I was doing the 12x12s. Just, random papers with the colors that I thought fit into my composition. So I'm gluing those on using Liquitex matte gel medium. And then when I get to some of the lighter papers like this piece, I switch over to the Liquitex fluid medium. That one is actually printed on a napkin. Like, when you separate the napkin and you're using the printed part on your project, and then you have that leftover white piece, I gel printed on some of those. And so I have some very lightweight prints that are just in here and there. And I'm just adding papers. I'm not paper painting in the sense that I'm going to do this entire page made out of little pieces of paper like I sometimes do, or pieced pieces of paper. I'm just putting paper on there in shapes and colors that I think go with my composition, and I am covering up some of that ugly background, and I'm doing it with a purpose. It is not accidental where I'm placing things. Then these pieces are stamped tissue paper. A while back we had a stamped tissue paper swap in the Art Joy of Sharing Facebook group, and I had stamped a bunch with archival ink, and I thought that these leaves made a perfect headdress for Pele, the volcano goddess, because it's Hawaii, and that's the type of thing that they would wear. So I made her headdress out of those stamped pieces that I tore out of the tissue paper using a water brush so that it was easy to tear. And I glued those down using the fluid matte medium because they're a thinner paper. When you're collaging as your first layer, it really is an easy way to do a layout of what your page is going to have on it, because you're putting the pieces in certain places, and it does start to form your composition. And also it informs your color choices because of the papers that you're using on there as well. So the background already had like maybe some turquoisey teal colors, and then I added in the blackish brownish. I added in a lot of red and orange. Um, so those will be, you know, my page colors eventually. Now I've got some acrylic paints, and today I'm using the Dina Wakley um, 1 ounce bottles of acrylic paint for most of this. This, however, is just regular black. I had some white gesso and some, I think it's Mars black, or maybe ivory black, I'm not sure which one. Liquitex Basics paints. I don't have black and white in those Dina Wakley colors, but then the rest of the colors that I use will be from those little, very handy little 1 ounce bottles. You can get the smallest amount of paint out of there and you don't waste because you're not like accidentally squirting a big blop. I also think it probably will not run out and dry out very fast like some of my other paints have done, because the opening that can be exposed to the oxygen, which hardens the paint, is very, very small. So I'm in kind of really in like or love with these paints at the moment, and I think I want all the rest of the colors. I have a limited set. So I did some finger painting using the peacock color up in the sky, and then also some of that white gesso um, to make kind of steamy clouds. And then the lemon yellow color I used a little bit to blend in those pieces of paper that I had around the top of the volcano. And then now I'm using the cheddar, the blushing, and the Sedona colors, which those 3 colors are perfect for Polynesian skin. Um, they're all kind of warm colors, and I was making sure that I put a very strong highlight on one side of her face where she's turned towards the lava, on the, I guess it would be your right hand side. It's the left hand side of the page, but I really wanted a strong highlight, so I did even add in a little bit of the white gesso blended with that lemon yellow color to make a strong, strong highlight. And then I blended the ivory black a little bit with the Sedona, which was the darkest tone that I had of the brown, reddish brownish color, and made an even darker shadow for the darker side. So I work on this for quite a while. This is heavy body acrylic paint, and I'm really not using water with it. I'm not using a wet brush. I'm just kind of using the paint straight, but I did blend a few colors, and it's working very well. I was happy with it. So that's the blushing color that I put on her lips, but then I decided it was too light, so I ended up getting out some of the ruby, which is a deep red eventually. What other colors did I use? Oh, I used the evergreen and the, I think it's lime green, and the lemon yellow in the headdress as well. So I made that part green. So now I've got my Stabilo all pencil in black, and I'm firming up the details and adding in that darker color, like in around the eyes, the eyebrows, the nostrils, the lip dip, and the lips, the crease between, bringing that darkness back in. And I don't ever end up using a marker. I just use this pencil for the whole thing, and then later on I blend it with a water brush. But this is just kind of firming up the lines in the areas that I need it to be a little bit clearer. And then I think, oh yes, I do need to do something about the eyes. The eyes are just still the color of the background. And I do have that white gesso, but I blended a little bit of the lemon color in because our eyes are not like white. They're not like blindingly white. They do actually have a little bit of yellow and a little bit of pink in them. Even though we say the whites of your eyes, I can see you by the whites of your eyes. And they're actually yellowish pink, if you think about it. So I didn't want to make them pure white because it would be such a stark contrast between the skin and the eyes if I did that. So I'm still thinking about the lips. This is when I decide to bring in some of the ruby color. And I do add a little bit of that on her cheek as well. Blend it in. It's a pretty color. It's a deep red, like a alizarin crimson type color. Pretty colors. I like them. So I fill in the lip, but then I end up going back and adding a strong highlight on that one side again because the glow from the lava would be hitting that side. When I started out today to go and do the live show, I was so not into it. I just did not feel like doing art. Having some really tough times around here with lots of, personal stuff, and I wasn't in the mood. But by the time I got into this and I started painting and I started with my idea of what I was thinking about, what I was feeling, and how I want to be a strong woman, and also, of course, thinking about the videos that I've been watching of the lava and the love that I have of the Hawaiian Islands. I got into this, and I'm extremely happy with the way the page turned out, and I'm also very surprised that it turned out at all. I mean, I just really, if there's ever a time that I was not in the mood for art, it was today. But yet, once you start the process of creating and you start thinking about things and you get out of your own misery inside your head and you start expressing yourself on the page, it all just comes out. And yeah, it was a very rewarding experience today for me to paint this. Is it perfect? No. Is it the most beautiful thing you ever saw? No, but it is pretty enough. And finished enough. I mean, when you're art journaling, you're not painting the Mona Lisa. You're practicing in a book that probably no one will ever see but you. So if there's little things that you think are unfinished, you can go back, or you can just leave it with the experience of that day at that time, and this is what you were feeling at that time. That's what I like about art journaling, is it's not, there's so much less pressure to be perfect, and you can experiment and you can try things. So now I have some of the yellow, some of the orange, and some of the red, and some of the white paints, and I'm painting more streaks of the lava into her hair and adding some definition up at the explosion part of the volcano and that sort of thing. And then I do just a tiny bit of stenciling. I have this stencil laying out on the floor by my desk. It hadn't been put away, and so I added that little bit of detailing in with the stencil and an artist brush. And then I really liked that one curl at the end of the watery part of the stencil, and I used it several times in the clouds. Like, oh, that's really cool. I need to do that. And then I thought that I should add some of the green in another area of the page because it's just on her head and not anywhere else. So I brought in a few little fern shapes in the same green tones down here in the lower corner. And then just more detailing, and I think it's getting close to being done. Time is running out. I think we went over a little bit of our hour and a half that we normally do on the live stream. I think we did about an hour 45 minutes, so that's how long it took me to do this page. Adding in some detailing around the headdress with the Stabilo All pencil and around other places. So if you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give me a thumbs up. That always helps my channel when you do that. Also, leaving a comment or a question below the video is really great. If you know someone who loves volcanoes and loves Pele and would be interested in this video, be sure to share it with them. And also, it really helps if you pin my videos to your Facebook, yeah, to Pinterest, or put them on Facebook. Those things all really help my channel, so that would be appreciated. And that's it for me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.